Hello, my name is Brandy Mills, and this is my interpersonal communication project. Start with slide 1. My project is about how I've adapted over the course of this class. The slides will reveal that my behavioral blend and how it affects my communication. I'll also acknowledge my barriers and what I found most helpful in this course. Slide 2. Overarching goal. My overarching goal is to help as many people as I can be happy. I realized this goal when I was in high school. However, either ignoring the direction or not having a direction delayed my progress in working towards reaching my goal until later in life, which brings me here to Liberty. Slide 3. I realize now that I personally can reach this goal, and I want to reach this goal through counseling, in which interpersonal communication is essential. Everything I do and say while with the client will have an impact on him. For example, nonverbal language is something that pours out of people naturally. Stewart says that face, eye contact, gaze, speech, touch, movement, and gesture all affect communication. If I can respond appropriately within these categories, I know it will enhance my communication, thus helping me reach my goal. Another aspect of interpersonal communication that is essential for my goal is the concept of attribution, which is our way of making sense of behavior. I think I need to be more aware of this because I am from a small town in which I will be working. It's a town where everybody knows everybody, and if they don't know you, then they know your parents. So rather than me make predictions of why others are behaving the way they are, I must instead keep an open mind and realize that I don't know everybody's personal or internal factors that come into play. Slide 4. In her article, Enhancing Interpersonal Communication, Positive Mood Effects, Donna Nelson also reinforces Peterson's idea of the thud and the flat brain concept by saying that having a positive affect enhances problem solving as well as empathy and perspective. The biggest communication skill for me that I need in my career is listening. I must have the ability to listen actively and effectively to others. Burley Allen says that we are able to use listening skills to take charge of situations and influence their outcome. That statement is very powerful to me because it's what I will be doing. Listening to others, helping them change their outcome to be happy. The book, Why Don't We Listen Better, really opened my eyes to how to effectively listen and let the talker know that I understand what he is saying. I found the talker-listener card to be a vital piece of communication as I read through the book. Specifically, Peterson says that the role of the listener is to provide safety, understand the talker, and to clarify. Slide 5, my behavioral blend. My blend on graph 1 was a DIC, and on graph 2 was a DSC. One quality of mine that I feel is very apparent for producing positive as well as negative outcomes for me is the idea that I am an active person rather than a passive, and also that I require the need for research and understanding. I tend to think that life is too short to be passive and to not take the time to figure things out right away and not let them go too long. I feel that I work best when I know the ins and outs of something, whether it be a project or a program that I'm a part of. Therefore, research is essential to me. Slide 6. This may be negative for me because not everybody operates this way. Some people are content with the pace that allows them to just get by, whether they know the details of something, they're content with not knowing. Sometimes I am like this. However, I'm more active at reaching my goal, so I always have that goal in the back of my head. Slide 7. My background shows that I am a hard worker. I've always been a hard worker, and whatever I put my mind to, I can usually achieve. I received good grades in school as long as I've worked hard for them. In my careers and my jobs, I've had the opportunity for advancement. These things correlate with my blend in revealing that I am energized by challenges. Slide 8, my communication barriers. One communication barrier that I've realized after reading the course material is that I often express to others most of the communication traps that Peterson writes about in his book. I am a classic Perry Mason trap. I always ask questions, especially with my children. The most detrimental communication barrier that I believe I have is that I am not effective at letting people know that I have listened to them without inputting my own opinions or overriding their point with something that I believe is more important. I need work at not always adding my 2 cents because I feel that it hinders my communication and relationships. Perhaps this would be a yes but trap in Peterson's book that I engage in. His first technique to better listening is acknowledging that it's okay for the talker to feel the way he does. I like that Peterson acknowledges this because I know that always adding my opinion may demonstrate disapproval to the talker. Slide 9, helpful resources. The single most important and helpful resource in this course was Why Don't We Listen Better by James Peterson. Slide 10, this book really describes the problems that people face while communicating with each other. I like that he provided specific examples of how to respond appropriately to others and the traps that we may fall into while communicating. I think the talker-listener card is a very good idea for 2 people in knowing their role in the communication process. After reading this book, I really started to pay attention to how I respond to others. I've been trying to listen more rather than talk and provide answers that don't just try to find the quick solution, but let silence come into play a little bit more. Slide 10, my action plan. My overall goal is to enhance my listening skills and talk less because I am a talker. Within my action plan, I also want to read Peterson's book again because I think that it will give me a better concept of his techniques. My end goal is just to make people feel safe and know that they're not alone in their problems. Slide 12 is a statement that really stuck out to me in Wilkinson's, Bernstein's, and Becky's article, Measuring Communication Skills, is that active listening is the listener's ability to demonstrate understanding of the speaker's own grasp of an experience without allowing the listener's interpretation to color his perception of the speaker's experience. If I keep this in mind, I think it will remind me of my purpose while listening. Slide 13 is just saying that I've learned a lot in this course, a lot that I thought I already knew. Taking from it, I think I will be able to enhance and improve my communication skills in both my professional and personal relationships.